Welcome back, everybody, to the 7th episode of the Tie My Skates podcast. I'm your host, Drunk Gritty, and I'm alongside my co-host, Z. And this is the very last episode before, or not the very last episode, the second to last episode right before the regular season starts. By the time we have our next episode, we'll have it on Tuesday, and 3 days later, the Flyers will have their very first game of the season against the Vancouver Canucks in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. How you doing today, Zay?
Good, man. Excited. We're going to have some... I'll have to watch some preseason games. We'll have some preseason games to talk about next episode. And like you said, the season will be starting up. We got tickets for the first game against Vancouver, so I'm pumped for that.
Pretty expensive tickets for second level, not going to lie.
Hey, man, it is what it is. I just want to watch some live hockey. It's been a minute.
Yeah, seriously. It's been nice. I actually, before we started recording today, just caught a couple minutes of the Islanders and Rangers preseason game. Not too exciting because New York, but...
I hate everybody on both those teams. There's just no one I actually want to watch.
I like
it's one thing. It's one thing when you're watching
the
Caps and you can kind of root for Ovi, but
I don't know. I'm not a big Ovi guy.
Oh, really?
I haven't liked him. I mean, I
We've
respect
never talked
him,
about
but
this.
I don't like him.
That's how I feel about Crosby. Is I respect him, but I don't like him.
I feel the same.
But
about
Ovi, I respect and like.
Nah, I don't like either of them.
Okay.
I just can't. Ovechkin, I've just had this whole vendetta against him since I've been a child. He's just been one of those players that has always had good games against the Flyers, and it's just oh great, every single time I play against this guy, he's going to score some important goal and ruin my life or ruin my day.
Hey man, don't take it so personally. He has good games against literally every team in the league and scores big goals against every team in the league.
I've also had so many friends that have been Caps fans in college and stuff that they just shove that shit in my face. I'm just please just stop. I haven't had a good season in 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had those issues. Maybe that's why I don't have the childhood trauma that you have of Caps fans bullying you.
I mean, I'm trying to think of all the times that Ovechkin's done us wrong.
But it's more so Crosby has done way more wrong, is what I'm saying.
Oh, of course, yeah. But
at this point in your were you not rooting for Ovi to win a cup when it was them in Vegas in the final? You wanted Vegas to win? I
wanted Vegas to win.
Oh, I wanted the Vegas fans to be tortured for many years before they got to win a cup. Fuck that winning in your first year. It was cool that they were good at first, but then
I'd rather them win in their first
team.
year. I'd rather them win just so their fans get cocky and shit. All my team's going is dude, you guys just got so lucky, and it didn't really mean anything.
No, it would be the worst because they're new hockey fans that would be rooting for this team, and they'd be oh, this is how easy hockey is. We can just win right away. They would be so cocky. It would be horrible.
Yeah, you're right. I feel those people are easy to ignore for me more than Washington fans.
I don't get shit from Caps fans. Is that just I don't know. I'm just it doesn't come at me, or maybe it's just because I like Ovi, so it doesn't bother me. I don't know. I think he's just an undeniably great player, and I love his personality. And you can't be mad at that shot. Everyone knows it's coming. Goalies know it's coming, and it just goes in. So there's you can't be it's gonna happen.
Now. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him the same that I hate Crosby. But I am rooting for Ovechkin now. I'm rooting for him to beat
the Gretzky record.
That
would be pretty sick.
I mean, it'd be stupid not to root for it, to be able to witness with your own eyes hockey history, something that crazy. You have to root for him. So even if you hate the guy, you have to root for him.
Yeah. So maybe I did him and Crosby were on sort of the same level when I was younger, but now, in my old age. You hear about people. I know you hear about people that were
talk about being old. There's probably people that are doing podcasts that are probably 10, 20 years older than us.
I know that's the joke. You hear about people who were Knicks fans in the 80s and 90s, and they just didn't watch Jordan because they hated him because he would just destroy the Knicks every time they played. And then those people missed out on watching one of the greatest basketball players play. You know what I mean? Because So you gotta sort of, look at it that way, and it's just like I hate these guys, but this is greatness, and there's going to be a point where I don't get to watch these players play anymore, and all I can see is like highlights or whatever. Yeah. Same thing like with LeBron. You got to enjoy like what you're watching while it's going on. Like this is an amazing athlete. Like just enjoy it.
And it's like Brady as well. He's another guy that fits that bill right there.
Exactly.
It's like everybody.
So like, when is that guy going to come around again? A guy like that. When's a Crosby going to come again?
Very short lives. It's probably a once in a lifetime type of player. So
exactly. So that's why now I'm more so
pro.
Don't let my hatred seep in as much. But it's still tough to watch Crosby play more so than Ovechkin. But
we can always
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into the episode. Before we get in, though, I was just gonna say, like we can let our hatred take the best of us at times, especially during the season, I think.
Oh yeah.
And like playoffs and stuff, I feel like I said, like I hate Crosby, I hate Ovechkin, I hate all these kind of guys. Like I'm trying to think of others, like James Neal. I used to hate all of the time. Every single time we'd play the Penguins in the postseason, James Neal was one of my most hated players.
He was a little dirty little player too.
It's just especially during the postseason, like you're allowed to hate those guys as much as you physically want.
I feel like that's a different
how much you hate them.
That's a different type of hatred for a dirty player, or for sort of the opposite with Crosby, where he was just like a baby and would like scream at the refs, or like would fuck with someone and then like let his other teammate fight them, which he did with the Flyers a bunch. Where like I didn't respect that part of his game at all. But like Ovechkin never did shit like that.
No,
like, he was a big boy, always stood up for himself, and didn't do anything dirty. So. Yeah. That's kind of my argument for it. But let's get in. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We'll start off with some of the injury news around some of the guys who were going to be starters and reserves on the team. So you can why don't you go through it, DJ?
Yeah. So recently, obviously, we've had a bunch of injuries come about. Kevin Hayes out 6 to 8 weeks after he got I believe it's core muscle surgery. I think it's his second surgery of the offseason, which kind of sucks to hear. He'll be out minimum 6 weeks. It sucks, but maybe Morgan Frost will get a chance. We also got Wade Allison with a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out indefinitely. Kind of weird to see a high ankle sprain being out indefinitely. I feel like when I hear a high ankle sprain, I think like maybe the guy might be out a couple weeks to a month. It's kind of weird to hear the indefinitely part of that injury. And then we also got Sam Morin, who... there was a couple rumors on social media about him having a major injury. Ends up being a 6 to 8 week. You can say it's major, you can say it's not. I'd probably say it's a major injury, being out almost 2 months. But yeah, so we got 3 pretty big injuries to the team. Obviously, Kevin Hayes being the worst of the 3, our second line center. So I think in lieu of that, there's probably going to be some openings for some young guys to, get their chance.
Yeah, Sam Morin, third like big knee injury, just kind of heartbreaking. You feel for the kid, like that fucking sucks, especially like knees.
Yeah, I mean it's better than being out like long term. I mean, it's probably going to be more towards 2 months for him, I would say. Like considering it's an other knee injury for him, it kind of sucks. He was going to start the year probably 7th defenseman on the team.
Yeah, so 7th defenseman.
So hopefully he can just rehab from that injury and come back and play for us.
Yeah. And then Wade Allison, that sucks. Like we both had him drawn in for third line winger, and it was going to make the third line more dangerous. And then we we were going over our lines a few episodes ago, and it was just like we have too many wingers. Like we don't know how to make it all fit together. But
someone answered our prayers there and decided
well, I don't know. I
wouldn't
call them prayers, but yeah, I mean, but that's you see now like why Chuck went not out of his way, but like made it a point to make this team deep, because I mean he even said it, like we did the thing last year where we lost a lot of guys and we had to depend on the younger guys, and it just didn't work. So he wanted more of a veteran lineup and having more of those options. He, had a late season signing of Brassard. That's like paying off huge now with Hayes being injured, because you have another center in there. You talked about Frost possibly getting a chance. I think he'll definitely, be a middle sixer.
Yeah, and we'll gloss over that later.
Yeah,
The
we'll get
lineups
into
and
it later.
stuff.
But with Wade Allison, that just sucks. I think it was at the
Second day of
the second rookie
the
game
rookie.
against
Yeah.
the Rangers. In the first game, he fought some dude who was like 6'7" or 6'8" or something.
Yeah, he was really he's being real aggressive out
He
there
like
in preseason.
he didn't like a hit that he made, and then in the second game, some other player I think just like boarded him or something, and he went into the boards weird.
Yeah, I mean,
That just sucks.
it's unfortunate. that
He's
that
had his
happens,
fair share of
but-
injuries too.
Wade Allison.
Yeah, in college.
Yeah.
I think also knees though.
I mean, hopefully he'll be okay. I think it's just kind of weird, like I mentioned, like the whole high ankle sprain thing. Like I'm not like a medical guy.
It must
or
be
whatever.
something else.
Do you think it's like a mix of something? Because I feel like a high ankle sprain, like I said, like a month. I feel like that's like a month. Like it could like be like a lingering thing that could bother you, especially with like your stride and stuff when you're skating. But I don't really foresee that being like a super long term type thing.
Yeah, so they're either being cautious or there's like something else going on. I mean, like I don't really see the need to rush this kid back into the lineup. So let him take his time in rehab, especially if he's had other, I mean, I would call knee part of the leg, like other leg injuries in his past.
Yeah.
So I mean, like let him take his time and rehab properly. And then with Hayes, like you mentioned, he had core muscle surgery earlier in the off season, and then I think he tweaked something in one of the practices.
Yeah,
and
it was
went and got surgery that day.
It was a second core muscle surgery, right? It was like the same area type thing.
I think it was pretty much the same area.
You know, that kind of sucks, like that happened, but at the same time, like I saw that happen, and I didn't really like think too negatively upon it. I just like, oh, that does suck. We're gonna be without Hayes. Like he's an integral part of this team, but at the same time, we have guys that can fill his spot, and it gives other guys opportunities. And the fact that like it'll be the beginning of the season, like when do you want injuries to happen? When do you want people to go get their surgeries and like get stuff stitched up or fixed
off
up
season,
or whatever?
beginning of the season, yeah.
Exactly. You want it to happen, and then let art like. Because we have so many young guys that could just pop in the lineup and probably help produce for this team. So it's kind of nice to like have these guys have that opportunity right off the get-go, you know?
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, it's better for him to get injured in the second practice than in the second game of the season. Just because, like, now they can practice the lines that are going to have to be the lines, you know what I mean? Practice these guys together and see what chemistry you can get and, like, work it out before the season actually starts, better than, you know, like with Coots, how we just lost him second game of last season, and then we thought Frost could pop right in, and then he got injured, and then it's like, oh, what the now all our lines are in a blender. So
yeah,
it's better that it happened, you know, when it did, and that he can get, you know, he got surgery right away, and you know he's on his way to recovering. So, do you want to just go into the opportunities and lineups now, and then we'll hit around the league after?
Yeah,
just because we're on the topic.
Better approach, I would say.
So we can go ahead.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, obviously, we're talking about Hayes right now. The biggest opportunity is Morgan Frost taking that second center position on this team. I feel like we both think this guy is super talented, and I think this is like last year he got injured as he got his opportunity when Coots went down, and now it's like deja vu. He has that opportunity again. Is he going to be able to, you know, stand tall and prove himself?
Yeah, I mean, we've always said like, oh, like you're not going to put Frost as your fourth line center. Like let him play in the A instead. This kid needs to be, you know, a top six, middle six center, and now he has his opportunity on that. What's looking like it's going to be the second line. They have him in camp so far with JVR and Farabee. We'll go into the lineups later that they've had in camp, but then with JVR and Farabee, and I think that's subject to change, but I think that's a pretty good line to start out with. If you go back and actually watch, there's a compilation video on YouTube of his plays that he made when in like I don't remember how many games he played with the Flyers like 2 years ago. Was it like maybe like 15 or 20 games, something like
Yeah,
that.
couldn't have been too many.
He didn't look out of place out there. Maybe he like ran out of he was moving down the lineup when he wasn't producing as much. He had a bunch of good games with TK and Giroux where he was making great offensive plays, but when he wasn't making great offensive plays, he was making great plays in the defensive zone, keeping the puck, taking the puck away. So I think he can really, seize the moment and make a spot for himself on this team in, the 6 to 8 weeks that Hayes is going to be out, and we need a top end center. And if he can't, drop him down to the third line, but put Brassard on the second line. I mean, he's played second line center before. He's probably too old to be playing that now, but we have that security blanket.
I'd
probably put Law in.
I prefer to toss G to second line center in that scenario and keep Brassard third, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many options. You could bring Lawton up to that second line role as well. I mean, obviously, that's not where you want him, but yeah, he can play everywhere, all up and down the lineup. So it's like this team was built this offseason to have all those options, to be prepared for any type of injury. We've so far lost top 6 center and top 9 winger that we had slotted in, and the team hasn't changed that much. It hasn't really taken that huge of a hit in terms of the roster construction. So that's what you're looking for in a deep team.
Exactly. Like it's nice to see that even when we get injuries, we're still okay. Like there's nothing to be upset about. Like we still got players to fill those spots, and I mean, I think I'm not sure Frost is going to be able to be like incredible right off the bat, but I feel like he's not going to get beat too much. I feel like he's going to look like he kind of belongs, but I don't foresee him, shining, like going like multiple point nights like in the first couple weeks of the season. But I think he's going to show that like he belongs on this team, hopefully, and that he can handle being on the second line, like some of the better players in the league. Like he's going to be able to like skate with them and like play alongside them and not look like he's a B player compared to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on. He's not going to go out there and score 4. It's not going to be Austin Matthews. He's not going to score 4 goals his first game. You know what I mean? It's not going to be that type of. He's not that type of player. Or else he would be on the team. He would have been on the team years ago. But he is a gifted player, and he will be a quality NHL player, and maybe not an elite franchise player, but he will be a quality NHL player, I believe, in the future. It's just that depends what the coaching staff asks of him. I mean, he's gained some size a little bit. They talked about that, how over the offseason he's put some weight on, which is important for a center, and he's going to be playing with experienced guys. So it's if they ask him, hey, focus on the defense and let the offense come, you know what I mean? Or it's, hey, go out there and do what you do. Those are like the two kind of the ways it can go.
I think it's going to be the latter. I think AV might let him go out there and just play his game and see what he can create. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of like the clips and stuff and all the moves and like playmaking he's been doing, and I know it's just practice and training camp and stuff, but he's been turning a lot of heads and he's been making some good plays by the couple of clips I've seen, just the things I've heard. He's looked pretty fucking good out there.
Yeah, I've seen some sick board plays, escape, getting away with the puck along the boards, and some sick blind backhand passes into the slot and between the legs passes, stuff like that. So
yeah, you said he gained weight. Do you know how much he weighs now? I saw the same. I was going to mention, I feel like he weighs more towards 190 now, which is
I have no idea,
something like that. I could be wrong, but I think it's around 185 pounds, which I think that's up to par with around what Giroux weighs.
Yeah, so I'd say given the eye test, he's probably that probably sounds about right.
Which is pretty good, especially for a center.
Yeah, and
you still want to be speedy and have that, be able to skate around the ice and be faster than everyone else.
Yeah, and just to go back to when he was playing, when he played with those 20 games a couple seasons ago, he was just shooting from everywhere. And that might be, when you're just coming into the league, that's something you learn that maybe they were telling him just put it on the net from wherever you want, or maybe, he was just trying to, or it was like the puck's a grenade and I just want to get it like to the net because I don't know what to do with it. One thing
that's what comes with being a young player in the league.
Yeah, one thing Konechny and Farabee talked about separately in their second years was their shot selection, and how they've gone back and looked at tape from their first seasons and like thought like, why did I even like try to take that shot, or like why was I shooting it from there? Like there was so many other options to do with the puck. So I think we could see Frost come in with that same mindset of having played some, not a full season given, but some games in the league, probably that maybe his shot selection will be a little bit different. Or like if you're playing with JVR and Farabee, you don't have to be, you're going to be the setup guy. You know what I mean? You don't have to be putting everything on the net. So
yeah, I think it'll be easier for him playing with guys like that, and like playing with a guy like Farabee who's similar. I don't know the guy personally, but I would assume they're like pretty much best friends. Like they got drafted within the same like year or two of each other. They've played for the Phantoms together. They've basically grown up in this franchise together. So it'll be nice for him to play with Farabee. And yeah, you're right. Like he's not going to have to shoot. And I liked your analysis there about how like first year players, like they tend to shoot the puck a lot more often in situations when they shouldn't. And as you get older, you become more mature. You learn from mistakes or things you've done in the past. And I think,
I think it's just natural.
I'm high on him this season. Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's natural. It's like you don't know what it's like to shoot on an NHL goalie until you do it. You know what I mean? Until you're in a game. So like the shots you were taking in juniors and in the AHL aren't going to go in from where they're going in on an NHL goalie. So you have to change your whole shot selection and the way you play offensively, and that's not going to come in a 20-game stretch. You know what I mean? That's going to come after, you've taken some time, and like what you have to go back and watch the tape and see what you're actually doing. And given that it's been a over a year since he's played meaningful games in the NHL, he's had a lot of time to do that and had a lot of guidance in both in training camps and rookie camps and at the AHL level, that I think he's coming in now with a whole new outlook on being an offensive player in the NHL. So
yeah. Going off stats, he's 7 points in 22 games is his official stat line.
Yeah.
So, obviously not too crazy, but he hasn't really had too much experience. So this could be his real first chance at really dipping his toe into the NHL pool.
2 goals, 5 assists?
Yeah. -3.
Yeah, he started out that
was
stretch
2
playing.
seasons ago.
Yeah, that was 2 seasons ago. He started out playing with TK and G and had some good games. I think that's where he put up most of his points. But then he got like pushed down the lineup and was playing with he was playing with like David Kasha and Voracek or something. Like there was some weird like line, or it was like Vorobiev, Frost, Kasha. It was like all those kids were on the bottom, in the bottom 6.
Yeah, all Hextall's favorite guys.
Yeah,
Hextall's favorite bottom sixers. Yeah, I'm seeing now he had 20 points 2 years ago and 7 points in 20 games, and I do remember him playing with G and TK. So like he definitely played with them, was doing pretty decent, and then obviously he played with lesser talent, and obviously he's not gonna produce too much with those players.
But yeah, that's also why he has to be a top sixer, because he has to be able to play with talented guys, because he can get the puck there. And if you're a setup guy, you can get the puck there. It's if the guy you're getting the puck to can put it in from where he is, and not everybody can do that. You know what I mean? It has to be a talented winger.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good that he's playing with 2 guys that are shoot first talent. With Farabee and JVR, it'll be a lot easier for him. He's only going to have to focus on the playmaking part of his game. He's not really going to have to think about shooting. Like obviously he's going to shoot the puck, but that's not going to be his first instinct when it comes to playing on a line with those guys.
And I also think it's great to be, that in that second line, you're more so protected. You're going to have more offensive zone starts. They're not going to have too many starts in the D zone. And hopefully they see that as their all offense line that'll get a lot of offensive zone starts and can put the puck in the net. It's either going to be an amazing line or going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Just like horrible defensively.
It's usually how it always is.
Yeah.
And as we're talking about the lines, I guess we should go into kind of what the training camp lines have been so far. So like we were talking about Frost, second line center with JVR on the left wing and Farabee on the right wing. The other lines that we've seen, first line G on the left, Coots in the center, and TK on the right wing. Third line Lindblom, Broussard, and Atkinson. And then on the fourth line, we've seen Lawton and Thompson trade off with the center position and left wing, and then Knack on that right wing. So that seems like what we're going to head into the season with, at least as of now. Obviously, things change every day. There could be another injury that we don't know about that could happen within the next 2 weeks. But, I mean, that kind of seems like the team we're going to go into the season with. I mean, what do you think about that, Zee?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Avy's keeping these lines together to see what kind of chemistry they can form, but he does like to throw the lines into a blender. I don't think we went like multiple games in a row with the exact same lineup last year. Like, I think, last year was kind of a shit show, but you know what I mean? Like, he would change us, like flip two wingers somewhere, you know what I mean? He was changing the lines up a lot where it was even hard to gain chemistry because you're playing with different guys every night. Same with the defensive pairs.
I don't know if that has to do with maybe how bad we were last year or the fact that at the same time, I feel like it could also have to do with AV taking a different approach game by game, like based off who we're playing. Like, wait, we're playing like, I don't know, like some more
the
offensive
Islanders
team,
tonight,
or something. So hey, we want to put G in the center or something like that because we want to be a little more defensive and have him take more defensive faceoffs. So I don't know, I'm just like spitballing here, but
no, I mean, it's a good point.
That's the approach AV kind of has. Like, I feel like he takes it game by game and he doesn't really look to the past. He looks at game, like it's a game by game analysis, and it's what's gonna be the best lineup to put out there for that game, and that's what he's gonna do.
No, that's fair. I wasn't saying it as if it was like historically that's like what he does as a coach, because I can't speak. I'm not going to look at what his lineups were. I have no idea if we're the Rangers in Vancouver and Montreal. I don't know if he was doing that back then.
I mean, he got fired from those teams, so we can only assume.
So I think it's good to give these guys like time to settle, and the defensive pairs are what everyone expected. Ellis, Provorov, Ristolainen, Sanheim, and Braun and Yandel. So that's probably as expected. It's going to go into the season like that, and those are probably what should be the defensive pairs. So, I mean, it's an okay lineup. I mean, good, not great. Like, I guess is the way to put it. It's
a good lineup considering that we have 2 top 9 players injured.
Yeah,
I would say.
No, yeah, especially
enter 2 players that would easily be in that top 9.
I mean, the good thing is that everyone on that in that lineup, you could say, except for Frost, is like a bona fide like NHL player. You know what I mean? There's not like, I mean, like NAK is like whatever, he's a fourth liner, but there's not just some like, no name. We don't have like 2 no name guys on the fourth line who knows what the fuck we're gonna get out of them. It's not like Van de Velde is on our fourth line anymore.
I mean, like we said with Frost, we're giving him a chance, so he's going to be second line center. Like, he's going to get his opportunity now, and then we have Atkinson on the third line, who like I foresee like seeing him on the third line. I think he's going to like eat defenses alive, like playing third pair defenses, and like just like the matchups that he's going to get. I feel like he's going to be able to take advantage of that and like create a lot of offense. Like he's not a third line winger, but if he's going to play on the third line, I think he's going to take advantage of it.
I mean, I think that's that third line can be dangerous. So
like dirty, yeah. You
have Broussard, who like I haven't watched much of Broussard in years because he's just been bouncing around a bunch of teams. He was in Arizona last year?
Yeah,
or something like that.
He's been on Vancouver. He was on CBJ. Maybe not Vancouver. Maybe I'm mistaken.
No, he wasn't on Vancouver. He was in Ottawa. He was on Pittsburgh. He was in Florida. He was in Colorado. He was in New York Islanders. He was on the Rangers too, obviously.
CBJ as well. I know he
CBJ
played with
started with and Arizona. So he's bounced around. I think it's like 7 or 8 teams in the past few years. I mean, you know what I mean.
And then we've also heard things about Lindblom being 100% healthy, like back to where he was before he got diagnosed with cancer, which is awesome.
Which is amazing because we only got like 2 months of him being at that level. You know what I mean? And he was leading the team in goal. He had like 11 goals in the first like 2 months.
Yeah, it was when him and TK were playing with Coots, and they were both going off. Like, it looked like they were just gonna like both have breakout seasons. So, I mean, it's exciting to have him back to that form, and hopefully,
and just that he has,
along with a guy like Frost.
Just to hear that he has his energy back, you know what I mean? Because that was definitely taking a toll on him. Last season, you saw he had to AV just like gave him some games off where he healthy scratched him, you know, just to get some rest. But yeah, and Brassard is like known to be a offensively gifted player, but I think that's like that's sort of, we saw 2 months of Lindblom, but that's like a new line, you know what I mean? That's an exciting line to watch. Like, we don't know what Brassard and Atkinson are gonna bring on this like in their new roles, so that's gonna be a fun line to watch, I think.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like, I kind of these lines, like I really like them, especially the third line, just because Brassard and Atkinson, I believe, have played together before. I know it's been a long time ago since they've played together, but they're familiar with each other. And then I think just adding Lindblom to that line, it could be special. And I've heard some things in training camp about like that line like looking like very good, and just like chemistry wise and everything. So
yeah, and he likes those coaches in general, but I think also AV like having like pairs like of players, like maybe not a trio, but pairs of players that have chemistry.
It's a very good approach to take, I think.
Yeah, and you're seeing it kind of like with JVR and Farabee. They had a ton of chemistry last year, even though they're both sort of, shoot first guys. Farabee did play a lot of PK, so he has, he's more of a 200-foot, becoming a 200-foot winger. But you saw them have a ton of chemistry with Lawton in the middle, with Coots in the middle, like whoever it was. I don't know if they spent some time with G in the middle, but they definitely played off each other very well. So seeing with throw Frost in between them and see what happens. And if Atkinson and Brassard are going to be a pair, Coots and TK or G and Coots, probably G and Coots is the pair there. If TK can just, all he has to do is produce on that line, dude. Just produce, just score goals, please.
I'm not too worried about like TK on that line. I feel like he's easily going to produce. Like, if you're going to play with G and Coots, like, you're going to produce, and TK's so talented that I don't think he even needs G and Coots to produce. He's going to do it no matter what or who he's playing with.
Yeah,
but, I mean playing with G and Coots,
I'm saying it in
a plus.
Just do it so that like he does, like AV doesn't take you off that line in like the first 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Well, you could totally see that happening. Like, I mean, I feel like Farabee or even Atkinson, like you can slide either of those guys on that top line. So if TK's not going to produce, he's going to get tossed down to the second or third line right away. I don't think we'd see AV hesitate whatsoever doing that.
Yeah. He has so many options though. And then like, just to talk about the fourth line, it's like if the fourth line is your biggest complaint on your team, you have a good team. So Thompson, Lawton, like Thompson was probably going to be the extra forward with Wade Allison healthy and with Hayes healthy. Yeah. And that's a perfectly fine, extra forward to have.
Are you okay?
He's good on the face-off.
Are you okay playing a $3 million player on the fourth line?
In Lawton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit either. I know.
We were playing a $7 million player on the third line / scratching him in the playoffs like 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, everyone has those guys on their team,
I don't look at these guys as their contracts either. Like, I look at them as what they can do on the ice. That's for the GM and whatever owner to look at them as what their contracts are. I don't give a shit what these guys make.
Contracts are more important in the off season. I think once it's regular season, it's what can they produce. You're right. So it's like what they can produce. Obviously, the whole off season we've been talking about contracts, and we've been analyzing every little detail of like, oh, this guy's been getting paid too much, this guy's been getting paid too little. But now that like our team's locked in, it's just like, hey, what is this guy going to do for my team? It doesn't matter where you play him on your team. It's what's he going to do? What's he going to produce?
Yeah, I mean, if Lon's doing what he's supposed to do and is productive as a fourth line center, cool, man. Then that's fine. Like
he's going to get a lot of PK time as well, I would assume.
Yeah, yeah, and with Thompson, like whatever, can play the PK. He's good at face-offs. You just don't want to overuse him, which we saw that as sort of the issue his first time around with the team. But I don't have a huge issue with him. He was kind of actually productive in his role with the Jets last year. And then
he's also very good at face-offs, which is always a nice plus.
Yeah, Navy likes having two guys that can take face-offs on a line in case the first guy gets kicked off, or like in the case of Coots and G, when you're on your strong side, Coots is going to take it and G is going to take it on the other side.
Exactly.
Which that's just good to have. And then I think I think out of those three guys, like Thompson, Law, and NAK is the question mark on that line. Is he going to be a more disciplined player? That's the question.
Yeah, I think you see him as a question mark. I'm more on the I'm thinking more positively about it. I think he had a really bad year last year. Like, he took too many stupid penalties and stuff. I think hopefully he had a good off season. He's got a time to rewind, and he's not like, I think last year he might have been relied upon being on the third line a little too much, and now he's just gonna, he's gonna be on the fourth line. He's just gonna have to like play his game, and I actually think by the end of the season he's gonna be a guy that we're not even gonna be worrying about. He's gonna be like a Raffle, or I don't know, like a Pitlick type of guy where we're not worried about the way he's playing. At least that's my hope,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, yeah. So, I mean, you said it. It was the stupid penalties. It was the stick infractions in the offensive zone, in the neutral zone, away from the play that led to power plays where the other team scored goals, and that happened like way too much last year with NAK. So, and that's those are mental errors. You know what I mean? It's not like he was out of position or whatever. It's just got a little too aggressive, got the stick up high. Slash the stick, whatever. Like, in the fourth line, if he can simplify his role and just be the, get the puck in deep, forecheck, when you guys do get the puck, just cycle it around the boards and waste time until the good players are not tired anymore. If that's what his role is completely simplified to, is just don't do anything too fancy, just get the puck deep, grind, hit bodies, keep it along the board, cycle it. He can be, effective in that role, and then we don't have to worry about him. It's when he's maybe trying too hard, and maybe that's, like you said, they were asking too much of him. But
yeah, I mean,
I think he needs to simplify his game.
He really does. I could also see him as a guy that easily is just scratched once Allison comes back. Like,
easily.
I don't want Allison on the fourth line or anything, but if those top three lines are doing good, then like a guy like Knack isn't playing well, I feel like I'd rather have like Thompson in the center, Lawton on the left wing, and then just throw Allison, who's gonna maybe have a couple fights. He did in the preseason.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like
I thought NAK was gonna be our fighter, not like our fighter, but like he would stick up for guys more.
Well, I think Allison could do that. Like, we've seen it. Like, he's going to go out. Allison, I have no issues with. He is going to go out there and grind no matter what line he's on. So if Knack isn't playing good to start the season and then Allison comes back, I mean, when Allison comes back, he's going to get into the lineup, and I feel like Knack is that first man out. I think he's the first man out before Thompson as well. That might not be everyone's opinion, but based on the position they play, Knack is a right winger. Lawton can play left wing, and Thompson can play left wing. So, like, they can interchange left wing, right wing. I think Knack is that first guy to get the boot.
Yeah. I think he could get in the hot seat real quick, too. And it just depends on the discipline.
He takes one more bad penalty in the first couple games. Like, he's going to have eyes on him.
Coaches just hate that. You know what I mean? Just like a completely unnecessary. That leads to a.
And I don't think we saw him really get punished for it too much last year.
It's because, like, who was going to replace him,
Who could replace him? Yeah, you're not wrong. We got anything else to talk about for lineups or anything? Or you want to roll into around the league?
Let's go to around the league. Yeah.
All right. So this around the league segment, we got a couple topics. The first one, kind of a soap opera type of thing going on in Buffalo with Jack Eichel getting stripped of the captaincy. Do you have any thoughts about
I
this?
mean, did anyone?
It's just a funny thing.
Is this a surprise to anybody? Like,
It's not
what
really
do we
a
think was going to
surprise.
happen?
It's just more of a like, why? This is so pointless. Like, to
It's
me,
getting like petty
I
at this
see
point.
it. To me, I roll my eyes when I see news about Eichel anymore. It's just like, hey, Buffalo, how about you just trade the guy? Like,
You know what's going to happen?
You're holding him hostage. What's going to happen?
He's
Lay
going
it
to get
out for
traded
me.
to the Rangers for like a bag of sticks and a washing machine.
Please, God, don't have that happen.
That's what's going to happen.
Don't even try to like put that
in the universe. I mean, they dragged it. They're dragging this out for so long that his like value has tanked, right? And that teams are just probably done with it. That he's going to go to the Rangers, and the Rangers are going to keep all their good young prospects, and somehow get away with the deal, or maybe like lose one guy who like is going to be a bust.
Like Zibanejad, who I think's a fucking loser and stinks.
Yeah, dude, good. I
doesn't
hope he fucking
stink,
goes to
but
Buffalo.
I hate him. So do I.
But that's
actually, at the same time, I don't. I want him to stay on the Rangers and suck because I don't think he's good. But
I mean, he scored like 9 points
not to
against
talk
us in
about-
2 games.
Let's not talk about those games. Those didn't happen. But yeah, if Eichel gets traded to the Rangers, I won't be like devastated, but I'll just be I'll be speechless. I won't have anything to say. I'll just be like, of course, it's expected. Flyers fans just have another good player go to one of our arch rivals. Good player, one of the best players in the league.
The only thing worse than it is if he goes to the Penguins, which is like they don't have enough prospects to make it happen. But and Hextall's not going to make it happen.
We have no worries.
We know that's not
that.
going to
That
happen.
will never happen.
But like the second worst place is the New York Rangers.
Yeah. To go on the positive light of it, not positive, but like to not talk about him going to the Rangers. The whole situation with Buffalo sucks because he could have had his surgery so long ago, and now he's not going to be able to play for Team USA. And like, we want our best players to be playing for the United States. Like, we haven't won since the Miracle on Ice game in 1980, the gold medal. So we want our best players to be out there for our country, and it sucks that because of how Buffalo, and like we blame Buffalo, maybe it's a little bit on Eichel and his camp as well. It's just like the whole situation has just, it's been chaos, and now it's just hurting everybody. It's hurting the league because we're not going to get to see Eichel play pretty much all season. He's not going to get to play for Team USA, and it sucks. I think it's just a horrible situation, and I just wish it gets solved sooner rather than later. It's just so annoying, and I don't know. I side with Eichel so much more than I side with Buffalo. I think that whole organization is just such a fucking joke.
It's so poorly run.
It's so sad. I mean, how do you take a top 5 talent? Is it fair to call him a top 5 talent? I think it is. Top 10 talent. Top 10.
Top 10 center under 25. How are you restricting this?
If you want to get that technical, fine.
I mean, top 5 talent 10. Like McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl, like Crosby.
Yes.
Ovechkin, Kane. Like that's 7 people.
Dude, he's 24 years old. Don't even put Kane there.
Yeah, but is Patrick Kane better than Jack Eichel right now? Yes.
Of course.
Yeah,
but
so
Jack Eichel's 24
what do you want to
years
say?
old and has 10 years.
That's why I was saying top
10
talent under 25 years old. Or top 5 under 25 years old.
He could be on the North American team if it was the
Team North America at the World Championships. Or what was it?
It's like the Olympics for hockey only.
It was World oh god damn it. I'm
blanking on it. I know everyone listening, you probably have it, and you're probably like yelling at us right now.
World Cup of Hockey.
World Cup of Hockey. There you go.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He would be on that team. Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was on that team. Actually, he might have just been on Team USA. That was so long ago. That was it's probably like 4 years ago.
But yeah. Was he on that team? I think he was on the North American team.
You know who was on the North American team also?
Shane Gostisbehere.
You read my mind. What a stud.
I gotta watch fucking Arizona games now, man. God damn it. I love Ghost though.
I watch Arizona games. I got ESPN Plus now with the Hulu Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
ESPN
I got that
bundle.
package too. So I'm kind of pumped
So
that
awesome.
I'm actually gonna be able to watch games on it. They're not gonna,
Thank
hopefully
you,
they won't be blacked out here.
Thank you, ESPN, for buying some rights to the NHL.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm excited for these new broadcasts. Actually, I mean, most of the games I'm gonna watch are gonna be the Philadelphia, local broadcasts, but still.
Yeah, I think is TNT games on ESPN or is that just on TNT? Because I know we're on TNT with the Bruins. It's the first TNT game.
So are you asking
NHL.
if the TNT games are going to be on ESPN Plus? No. There's going to be like specific games that are only on ESPN Plus.
I didn't know if like ESPN like owned like the company TNT or whatever.
TNT is Turner and ESPN is AB. I don't know, dude. They're all like owned by each other. They might all be the same like parent company. But
Disney Plus
I
owns
want to say they're
ESPN.
separate. Disney owns
Or Disney owns
ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
don't know.
TNT is just Turner. I think it's a separate.
I think we need a third co-host who's just like really business oriented and knows like the ownerships of all these franchises. I don't think Turner Sports is owned by them or not.
Yeah, no. TNT is owned by like Warner, so that's different than it's like Turner Broadcasting and Warner or whatever. It's not owned by Disney. So no, but I did. Fun news is that I saw that Biz is going to be a TNT analyst. That is going to be hilarious. Good job by those people of actually give them what the people want.
Yeah, I honestly I feel like Ryan Whitney also deserves to be that kind of guy. I think he's got the voice for it, and he has a lot of good stories, and I don't know. I think he deserves it just as much as Biz does.
Yeah, I think I think he left. He was on NHL Network a little bit, and I think he left to do the whole podcast and like family thing more. So I don't know if he wants to get back into it. I'm sure they offered Biz.
Probably.
But I think he's focusing
good for him if he wants to focus just more on his sons, his thing and his family. Podcast, power to you. I mean, I would probably make a similar decision, especially for a guy that's already a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. I was gonna say he also had that 30 mil contract, so he's good. Whereas Biz is like, I'll do anything that anyone wants me to do. Like he wants to churn out content.
He's got like 1 million of net career earnings playing the NHL or something like that.
Exactly.
Maybe a little bit more. Maybe being a little too sarcastic, but he definitely does not have anywhere close to the money Whit made.
Yeah, he was a pigeon, man.
Yeah, but to get to a different topic here, another around the league topic. Kaprizov, Kirill
Kaprizov, Kirill the Thrill.
Kirill Kaprizov signed a 5-year, $9 million per year deal with the Minnesota Wild, which also has a no movement clause in the last 2 years of the deal. It really didn't seem like he was going to play in the NHL ever again. And then, what do you know? He signs a deal.
Yeah, and of course, in like the in his press conference, they were like, "Yeah, was there any chance you were going to play in the KHL?" And he was like, "None, absolutely none." So it seemed like that was just a bartering chip there. But hey, I didn't think he was going to play in the KHL. I think they were either going to trade him or sign him.
I thought he was being stubborn. I guess it was just a strategy to get more money because I think he kind of got paid more than he probably should have.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. So I mean, like it's tough because he played like one season, one shortened season. He had 27 goals, 24 assists for 51 points in 55 games. I mean, that's good. And but his shooting percentage was 17%.
That's high as shit.
Yeah. And in the playoffs,
Jesus.
He had
1 of every 5 shots goes in. 1 of every 6.
Close to that. Yeah. He had 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points in 7 games in the playoffs. They went to 7 games against the Vegas Golden Knights. So, I mean, he's making Minnesota fun to watch. He had a lot of chemistry with Zuccarello, kind of like revitalized his career a little bit. But I don't think they like. I mean, he's a young. He's 24 years old. He's one of those Russian rookies. They Panarin style comes when they're like already 24 and then wins the Calder, which now they made a rule for like the next seasons that they actually. I think they're not counting like if a guy comes from the KHL, if he's played like professional hockey outside of the United States or outside of North America, he can't win the Calder.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. So if only they retroactively did that and like Gostisbehere win, that'd be great because he was second in voting behind Panarin. I'm still sour about that.
Forgot about that.
Anyhow,
we should retroactively apply that.
Yeah, we should retroactively apply that. Anyway, he's a fun guy to watch. Super talented. One of those guys who's just like crazy edge work and just uses that to get around and find openings and score goals. So he's going to be fun to watch for a while. I think Minnesota just has like nothing going for him. They bought out Parise and Suter probably to sort of make this deal, and they're going to pay for that in a couple of years with how much they owe or whatever the penalty is for buying them out. But I think they just kind of had to. They had to pay. They had to pay this guy to keep this team competitive and keep the fan excitement around him. Yeah,
I mean, I don't have too much of an opinion on it. I was surprised he got signed. I really didn't think he was going to, but it's good. It's good for the league that a guy this talented is still going to be playing in the NHL.
Also, just love that
he's like us too much.
He's like, oh, who's the best player in the league right now? Oh, Connor McDavid. Oh, I'm going to take his number. He just came in with 97. Yeah.
I wonder if that was on purpose.
I don't know. It might just be like a flex, Maybe. I got to see if the KHL, if he was 97 in the KHL too. Yeah, but this is another guy. Like, why can't the Flyers have a guy like this? Drafted in 2015, 5th round, the 14th pick in the 5th round, 135th overall. Like, why can't we draft a guy in the 5th round who goes and plays in Russia for like 5 years and then comes here and is amazing and has almost 30 goals in a
we have the
season.
GM that did this, so maybe he'll do it for us.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Wade Allison? Did Fletcher draft him? No.
That's a Hextall draft.
Ah, damn it.
See, Wade Allison, because Wade Allison played 5 years college. I'm pretty sure he did an extra year or 4 years. Maybe he did 4 years.
Yeah.
Because usually they leave their 3rd year or whatever.
I don't know, though. I feel like Chuck's done some pretty good moves since he came here. What's the dude?
Cam York was his pick,
York.
And then Samu.
Yep. Also, Tyson Forster looks very good as well.
Yeah.
I think like he's one of those guys, like we were talking about injuries, that if another injury happens, he's going to get his chance. Like if a guy like TK or Atkinson or Farabee gets injured, like he's going to pop right into their spot. Probably play on the 3rd line, which would be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. He might start in the OHL.
Really?
He still has that option to be in the AHL or OHL.
I thought he played AHL last year though.
Samu?
No, not Samu.
Who you talking about?
No, I'm talking
Did
Tyson.
I get confused?
The whole time.
Tyson Forster.
Tyson
Sorry,
Forster.
I my bad then. Yes.
I think Tyson Forster gets a chance before Samu. I think Samu will play.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Sorry, I disagreed with you before. You're right.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think Tyson Forster is that next man up. Personally,
I hope so, dude. He can put the puck in the fucking net. So, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's head into the post game.
Yeah. Post game today, we got a few topics. So one of the best topics we've had in a while. AV talked about it in one of his press conferences the other day. Oscar Lindblom went for a scan, and he's still 100% cancer-free, which is just fucking fantastic to hear. I mean,
awesome to hear.
Yeah, I mean,
like you gotta be
through so much, and it's just great to hear that he's still healthy and he's still, he doesn't have to deal with that anymore. It's in his rearview mirror, and he can just focus on the future of his life.
Yeah, it's scary because it can just come back as fast as it came the first time, and you got to be like, in the back of your head worried every time you're going for a scan. So it's good that, so far he's just 100% cancer free, and you gotta hope that continues with his future scans. So, and it's good to see him back. Yeah, 100%. So far, like all the people I've seen who are at training camp have just said that he's just looked 100%. He's back, like in his board battles, back in the front of the net, getting pushed around, pushing other guys around. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Speaking of Oscar, did you see? I think it was last night. A ton of the Flyers were at the. Yeah, well, we're recording on Sunday right now.
Yeah,
you'll hear this on Tuesday, but a ton of the Flyers were at the Phillies game last night. I saw a picture of Oscar just like taking in the Phillies game, just sitting right next to Gavin eating some food on the
I think that was on G's Instagram. I think that was on G's Instagram.
I had a nice chuckle seeing that. I thought it was adorable.
Yeah,
it's like Uncle Oscar and Gav.
That was awesome. Today I saw. I think it was the scrimmages they had today. He like laid out to block a shot that was going to go into like a wide open net, and at the end of like the scrimmage. Yeah.
I did not see that. That's
something
awesome.
Like that. And it was kind of hard to tell from like it was sort of the left side of the goal, the angle of the camera, but that's what it looked like. And then like the buzzer, it was like to win the scrimmage was over, and all the guys came from the bench, like Ellis and Yandel, who were on his team, and G, I think too. They were just like all cheering and like came up to him.
That's an awesome moment.
Yeah, so that was fun to see.
I mean, it seems like all these guys love each other a lot, which is.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it, like everything gelling, and like G was talking about how there's a lot of new leaders in the locker room, and now it's just time to like get to work and make it all gel and work out. So they're working on it.
Hell yeah.
The other news coming out of the team, because we've seen them in their sort of new swag, is we have a couple of new slogans. So we're out the door with the Fly or Die, and I think we're done with the Anytime Anywhere. I think we've had enough of that, and now the new hashtags or slogans are Something to Prove and Bring It to Broad. How do you feel about these, DG?
Well, I like them both. I think I like Something to Prove a lot more than Bring It to Broad. I think it was G that first brought up the phrase Something to Prove. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I think he said in like a press conference, he's like, yeah, it's like we made all these moves and now we have something to prove out there. Like we got a lot of hungry guys. And so I think it might have been the captain that kind of brought upon this new phrase that we're going with for the season.
I like it. I like Bring It to Broad too, but I feel like that needs to be like, we have to be making a playoff push for that to become our slogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bring like it to that Broad. Should be during the playoffs.
Like coming
that means
to our fucking rink to play us because we have the home ice advantage type of deal.
I was seeing it as like Bring the Cup to Broad Street.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I was reading that. Is it not? Is that not how it's supposed to be taken in? It's like the England, like
so maybe it's a little open to, kind of like the Sopranos ending when it cuts to black. You have to,
interpret it as you will.
Yeah, use your own creativity and
because like the Bring It Home for like the British Team England's like what was it Euros or whatever, like they'd say like Bring It Home. Like that England
that was for
win.
England when they were trying to win.
Because they always say that because they like invented soccer. So whenever there's a championship, they like bring it home back to England.
Did we invent hockey in Philadelphia?
No, but I think it was in the same vein as like bring the championship back here, bring the trophy here.
All right, what I like Something to Prove more.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Something to Prove more because they fucking do have something to prove. And on that same note, I think AV had some words about G, talking about how he's he's accomplished a lot in his career, but he still has that one thing to add to his legacy, and he said that we're here to help him get that. So you like to hear that. I mean, AV has that too. He's accomplished a lot as a coach on the Jack Adams. He's been taking multiple.
I think a lot of the players on this team are in that same situation, and yeah, you're right. G and AV are going to lead that charge probably. They both. Like, AV has been a fantastic coach in his career, and he hasn't won. Drew has been one of the best players in the world, hasn't won. It's time to, put it all together and fucking win a championship.
And I think this slogan goes for like the whole organization, like top to bottom, players to the coaches to the GM to the owners. Like it's something. Everyone has something to prove.
I mean, I think that like you can put it to every player. Like TK, he's got something to prove. I feel like he had a bad season last year, and he's got something to prove to the fans. Same with Hayes. You got a guy like Sanheim, who's kind of been on negative light with the fan base and the team a little bit, so he's got something to prove. Carter's got something to prove after a bad season.
Ristolainen has nothing to prove. Everyone loves that guy. He's an analytical darling.
I love that guy. I do.
I did see a clip of him just do you see that JVR brought the puck over the blue line and then Ristolainen just completely separated him. Yeah, completely threw the body on him.
Ristolainen's one of those guys that's not liked as much as he should, and it's going to take one game until he's a top 5 fan favorite on this team.
He is who I'm most excited to watch play.
I can't wait, man. It's like Gudas was like the last like big man. Like I'm not comparing him to him. I'm comparing Chris Pronger is the guy I'm talking about. Like I feel like Ristolainen's like the last like big man. He's not as good as Chris Pronger, but he's the last big man that's like he's gonna tell you how it is. He's gonna fucking throw the body, like the rough stuff, and I don't know where I'm going here, but I just think he's like the last guy of that caliber that's just gonna throw his fucking body around and not give a shit. You know?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. You confused Radko Gudas with Chris Pronger with Radko Gudas.
I was confusing myself.
And then you said Ristolainen's like Chris Pronger, and we're just gonna move on to the next topic. So the next topic in post game is Nolan Patrick finally signed a deal with Vegas, 2 years, $1.2 million. He's probably going to be their first or second line center, which is crazy to think about. I think they have a ton of injuries in the middle on that team, and they don't really have center depth in general. Excited to see him play. Wish him the best. I mean, they would just like the circumstances were bad when he was on this team, so it is what it is. I'm not like other people where I'm, gonna shit on him his entire career because he wasn't great here, but
yeah, I see. I mean, I think as we've talked multiple times before, I feel a lot more strongly about Nolan Patrick than most people. Obviously, I agree and completely understand why we had to move on from him, but I don't completely understand the hate that he still continuously gets and like the dumb shit on social media that we've seen the past like week or so with him saying there were so many fans at like their practice or whatever, when in reality like the whole fucking stadium that he was practicing at was filled to the fucking like brink with people. It's like he wasn't lying. That's just what it was. And then obviously, of course, Philadelphia fans are going to take things out of context. I mean, that's, it's just what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So what he said was, I believe it was like, I've never seen so many fans out of practice before. And all Philadelphia fans took that as a slight towards Philadelphia, saying like that fans don't come to practice, which is like, how is that even an insult? Like that fans don't come to practice, like whatever. Like I'm a huge fan. I'd have no interest in going out to the Virtua Center and watching them practice. Like that doesn't interest me at all. And it was more so a comment in that there was like thousands of people at their practice. So it was crazy. He was
probably very surprised. He's like, why is there this many people at our practice? And he's like a quiet guy and he doesn't really like show too much personality, especially in interviews. So he was probably just like, a little confused to why there's so many people, but I don't know. I'm not ever going to hate on Nolan Patrick. If you guys and fans want to, go the fuck ahead. I'm never going to root against him and I'm never going to slight him in any way. I'm going to root for him and for the rest of his career. I hope he does well. I personally hope he does very well and just shuts people the fuck up about, having a bad season last year when, he didn't have cancer like Oscar, but he had a fucking horrible head injury. It's not hard to come back from stuff like that, and putting down a person like that, I just don't think that's like the humane right thing to do. But
yeah,
do what you will. have your own opinions. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not going to put a guy down more than he already maybe was. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I gave him a break. I still give him a break, and I still think he's a talented fucking player. He just hasn't really been able to show it quite yet, and he's still so fucking young. So, I mean, what's he, like 22?
Yeah, something like that. 23.
Yeah.
He's 23.
So, I mean, yeah, 23. I mean, he's not anywhere close to like being out of the league. He's going to have plenty of more opportunities to prove that he belongs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, negative people are going to be negative about it. And it's like, if he's bad, people are going to be, tweeting his stat line and making fun of him. If he's good, they're going to be mad that he wasn't that good in here. You know what I mean? It's a lose-lose. Like, if you're negative, you're just going to be negative about it, which is cool. Live your life being negative. That's fine.
Go ahead and shit on players that deserve to be shit on. Carson Wentz, the biggest loser in America. Ben Simmons, actually, he's the biggest loser in America.
Scared to get fouled.
Yeah, he doesn't even let his own fucking teammates come visit him. He's that big of a fucking pussy. I mean, those are the guys that deserve to get ripped into. Like Ben Simmons, like anytime he comes back to Philadelphia, that guy should get heckled. I don't think Nolan Patrick deserves to be on that same level. I think we got to cut him a break.
Yeah, like it's not worth it to, like, when Ben Simmons, whichever team he goes to, when they play the Sixers in Philadelphia, he's going to get booed every time he touches the ball. It's going to be constant booing every time he touches the ball. Does Nolan
going to ruin his life?
Does Nolan Patrick deserve that when one time Vegas comes to play us here? No. Like, is he going to get booed every time he touches the puck?
He's
like,
going to.
He's going to, but like he doesn't deserve that. It's like not even worth it. You know what I mean?
Ben Simmons deserves to get heckled. He deserves everything that's coming towards him. And I'm always defensive on players like that. Like you see, like, if you guys have followed me on social media a lot, like I was defensive over Ghost a lot. I've been defensive over Nolan Patrick and supportive of him. Like, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but like I would say like I kind of was supportive of a guy like Ben Simmons, but now I'm not. I mean, I'm not a big basketball fan, but like that guy deserves everything that's coming towards him. Whereas, we've said it multiple times, like I don't think Nolan Patrick deserves that. But please shit on Ben Simmons. He deserves it. He really does.
I love how he comes out like whatever last week or the week before, and he's just like, I will play for any other team except for the Philadelphia 76ers. Like,
he doesn't want to show his face here.
We already told you we were going to trade you. Like,
stop saying this.
Why are you? He's doing the like, you can't fire me, I quit. Like, it's like, dude, like, we said that we wanted to trade you, and we're looking for offers, and like whatever months later you come out and say, I will pay for any team except for the Sixers. I don't want to be here. It's like, what do you? What is the point of this?
I saw a guy say to trade him in the division so that we could see him a lot every year, which I think is hilarious. The fact that they want him to be in the same division as us so that we can see him 8 times a year and just like heckle him.
That or trade him to like a city that just like sucks. Like, don't trade him to like, even like you could trade him like the Clippers, but like he'd still be in LA and he would like love living there. You know what I mean? Trade him somewhere that like, trade him to Minnesota, trade him to Oklahoma City. Trade him to like
Ohio.
Yeah, Cleveland. to Cleveland. Trade him to some like city that sucks. And I have no offense to anyone who's from any of those cities, but they're not LA or New York
that are there. So I think we're safe. I think most Flyers fans are probably like East Coast, like major cities like New York, Boston, Washington.
Like at this point, it's like a personal vendetta. I know we're getting to Sixers stuff and we're going to end the episode soon. But like at this point, it's like a personal vendetta where it's like, don't even trade him to the place where you're going to get the most back for him. Like trade him to the place where he's going to be the most miserable.
That's how you got to do it.
That's called
a guy does you wrong, you be fucking petty about it.
Yeah,
exactly. Just be as petty as you want.
I wouldn't even be mad at that.
He's not letting his like best friends and teammates come see him. That says everything about
putting up videos of him shooting in an empty gym.
Yeah, dude, the guy has no respect. Like, he is the biggest loser in the NBA right now.
All right. Well, we went off on a tangent there, and we let our emotions get the best of us. But it happens.
I'm not even a basketball fan, and I enjoyed every moment of shitting on that man.
All right, so we'll wrap up this episode. Please like, comment, and follow on Twitter and Instagram at Time I Skates Pod, and listen anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Z. He's Drunk Gritty. We'll see you guys next time.